Welcome, my beloved Sagittarius souls, both longtime adventurers of the cosmic path and curious newcomers galloping in for the first time. You've just stumbled upon Zodiac Talks Tarot, and let me assure you, that's no coincidence. This is a sacred space where astrology isn't watered down into daily fluff, but instead treated like the powerful spiritual roadmap it truly is, interwoven with the threads of psychology, archetypes, and, yes, even a little Buddhist detachment to keep things from getting too dramatic. Now let's talk about where you are, Sagittarius. If it feels like the universe recently ran over your plans with a celestial bulldozer, you're not imagining things. But contrary to what your ego might whisper at 3 a.m., you are not broken. You're just in the middle of a sacred pause, what I like to call soul-level recalibration. As someone who's spent decades studying both zodiac patterns and emotional healing, I can tell you, this isn't collapse. It's recovery. And in true Sagittarius fashion, you didn't crash, you crash-landed into enlightenment. You, my fiery centaur, are one of the chosen ones. Not in some cheesy superhero way, but in the sense that your soul signed up for the hard but holy path. And right now, your divine GPS is rerouting not to the destination you thought you wanted, but the one your spirit actually needs. So what should you do? Meditate. Hydrate. And for the love of Jupiter, stop cyberstalking your ex or doom scrolling past midnight. Trust me, you're still manifesting, even when you're horizontal. That's not just woo-woo, it's basic quantum field theory. Now, let's address the emotional elephant in the room. Yes, your heart's been kicked around a bit, and your bank account may look like a cautionary tale. But here's the twist: what looks like destruction is often just divine renovation in disguise. Spirit is laying breadcrumbs everywhere, a woman holding a coin, an angel of balance, symbolic reminders that healing is already happening, even if it looks suspiciously like standing still. So before you throw the whole dream out and set it on fire, take a breath, look again, and remember, there's often gold buried beneath the rubble, but only the brave dig deep enough to find it. Let's take a moment, Sagittarius, to acknowledge something important. If lately you've found yourself pulling back from the chaos of daily life, dodging texts like Neo in the Matrix, or canceling plans faster than a Mercury retrograde flight, it's not because you're flaky, it's because you're in hermit mode. And no, that's not some trendy wellness phrase. It's an ancient, sacred state of soul recalibration. The Lovers reversed in your reading isn't just about relationship detours or emotional confusion. It's a spiritual nudge to step away from external noise and dive deep into your own psyche. This is introspection, not isolation. You're not avoiding life, you're regathering intel from the divine. Classic chosen one behavior. Now, I've spent more years than I care to count decoding these cosmic breadcrumbs, and if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that pulling back doesn't mean you're falling behind. In fact, you're speeding up, but inwardly. See, when the aces of wands and swords appear together like this, it's like the universe just flipped the breaker and shouted, "Power surge incoming." That's creative fire and divine truth, colliding. A double download. Translation: inspiration is about to hit like a lightning bolt in yoga pants. So sweep off your mental altar, declutter your thoughts, and please stop doom scrolling before bed. You're making room for something big. And let's not forget the nurturing feminine energy that's emerging in your field. Whether this shows up as a person in your life or an archetype rising within you, she's a reminder that compassion is not codependency. That softness is not surrender. It's strategy. In Buddhist terms, we'd call it skillful means, knowing when to wield the sword and when to offer the lotus. But here's where things get really interesting. Have you been dreaming about someone lately? And I don't mean the kind of dream that results from eating leftover pizza too close to midnight. I'm talking about the kind that lingers in your bones, the kind that feels more like memory than imagination. That's not random. That's spirit dialing in. You, dear Sagittarius, are experiencing what I call past life pings, psychic echoes of a connection that predates this incarnation. Deja vu isn't just a quirky brain glitch. It's your soul's way of waving its celestial hand and saying, hey, we've done this before. You might be reconnecting with someone your heart knew long before your playlists had algorithms. And that familiarity you can't explain? That sudden bond that feels deeper than your logical mind can justify? That's your karmic contract lighting up like neon under moonlight. As someone who's studied karmic ties, soul retrieval, and yes, the odd relationship chart involving 3 retrogrades and a moon in Pisces, let me be crystal clear, when your soul recognizes someone before your ego does, do not dismiss it. That connection is more than just a fleeting feeling, it's a thread from the tapestry of your many lives. Pay attention. This is a story you've told before, and you're about to write the next chapter. Now let's talk about them. You know who I mean. The one whose name you pretend not to flinch at when someone casually brings it up. The one who's been suspiciously quiet, but whose energy has been showing up in your dreams, your playlists, and maybe even your favorite meme account. Yep. That person. And guess what, Sagittarius? They're stirring. We've got Knight of Swords energy showing up, which is basically the cosmic version of I've got something to say but also I'm slightly panicked about it. Picture them drafting a long, emotional text that reads like a Shakespearean soliloquy, only to delete it all and hit you with the classic, hey. Ah yes, the universal breadcrumb of emotional paralysis. But hey, that's still progress. The Aces of Wands and Cups are reversed here, which tells us the passion and emotional flow were blocked for a while, like someone trying to pour their feelings through a straw with a knot in it. But don't worry. The Death card has entered the chat, and that's not a bad thing. This isn't an ending, it's a shedding. The old patterns are being composted into spiritual fertilizer. Gross? Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely. And here's the twist, the Magician shows up. Which means your person has finally assembled the emotional IKEA furniture of the soul. Tools? Check. Awareness? Check. Instructions translated from Karmic Sanskrit? More or less. They may still be a little clumsy, but the intention is there, and that's big. Now, let's zoom out. Because something major is brewing on the horizon, a message, a move, a moment. It could be romantic, it could be spiritual, it could be both, isn't it always? But here's the catch, the Moon card is lurking, reminding us not everything is as it seems. There's mystery. There's illusion. There's probably some overthinking. And then judgment arrives like a cosmic mic drop. This is the point in the movie where the music swells and the main character, spoiler alert, that's you, has to decide whether to repeat the cycle or write a new story. You're not a spectator in this connection, Sagittarius. You're a co-creator. The pen is in your hand. So when the message comes through, be it a literal text or a sign from the universe, don't miss it. Your next chapter might be waiting on the other side of hey. Let's take a breath, Sagittarius, and talk about something most people miss in their rush for closure or clarity, silence. Not the peaceful, monk on a mountain kind of silence, but that thick, uncomfortable, in your gut kind of quiet between you and someone who once lit up your soul like a solar flare. Stillness, contrary to popular belief, can be deafening. And if you've been hearing nothing from someone important lately, guess what? That nothing is actually saying a lot. You see, in astrology and depth psychology alike, absence often reveals more than presence. A lyric on the radio that weirdly sums up your situation. A scent that brings them back like they just walked past you. A dream that refuses to fade by morning coffee. These are not coincidences. They're breadcrumbs. Spirit's version of hey, pay attention, except instead of flashing neon lights, you get riddles wrapped in déjà vu. You're being invited to look deeper. And this isn't about paranoia, it's about perception. Trust your inner Buddha here, Sagittarius. The truth isn't shouting, it's whispering. So hush the mental noise and lean in. Now, about that person. Yes, that one. The energy of 3 of Cups and 5 of Wands tells me they're not done. Far from it. There's a reunion energy surfacing, but not the kind you post on Instagram with matching outfits and glitter filters. No, this is the messy, soul-level reunion. The kind that comes with emotional baggage, unresolved tension, and, if we're honest, probably some wine and long texts sent at spiritually significant hours, read, 2:11 a.m. But here's the thing, mess doesn't mean mistake. Soul contracts aren't clean. They're deep, gritty, transformative. If both of you are willing to do the work to face the truth, confront the wounds, and laugh through the awkwardness, this could very well be the cosmic payoff you didn't see coming. Just remember, even divine timing can look like chaos before it makes sense. Keep your heart open and your expectations grounded. And maybe, just maybe, have a bottle of red on standby. Let's get down to the part where the universe stops whispering and starts handing you the mic, Sagittarius. You've done the inner work, sat through the silence, decoded the dreams, and now finally we're entering magician territory. And no, not the rabbit out of a hat kind. I'm talking about soul-level, intention-backed, co-create your own reality magic. You've got the magician on your side. That's the card that says, hey, you already have everything you need, you just forgot where you put it. Now, on the other side of this spiritual equation is your person, who's no longer hiding behind ghosted messages and emotional ambiguity. The Knight of Cups energy has arrived, and that means they're showing up heart first. This is the moment they've traded their armor for vulnerability and decided, screw it. I'm going in. If you've been waiting for them to speak their truth, it's coming, possibly awkwardly, possibly with shaky hands, but it's coming. And when it does, it's not just about receiving it. It's about what you do next. The real test now is, can you manifest this connection from a place of faith rather than fear? Because fear will have you bracing for the worst. Faith? Faith says, let's try again with better boundaries and maybe fewer trust issues this time. That's the magician's mantra. You're not just reacting anymore. You're designing. And speaking of design, let's talk outcome. 6 of Wands is your cosmic green light. Victory is not only possible, it's probable. But 7 of Wands reminds us that anything worth having rarely arrives without a little resistance. You may have to stand your ground, speak your truth, and yes, dodge the occasional ego flare-up, yours or theirs. This is not the let's just see what happens stage. This is the show up or shut up moment. But here's the good news, clarity is coming. Queen of Swords energy slices through the fog like a samurai on a mission. No more guessing games. An 8 of Pentacles? That's someone doing the work. Behind the scenes, beneath the emotional noise, someone's got a metaphorical spreadsheet open trying to figure out how to make this thing sustainable. Sure, love isn't a business deal, but a little emotional accounting never hurt anybody. So yes, you can win this. But only if you play like the chosen one you are. Consciously. Courageously. And with just the right amount of cosmic sass. Alright, Sagittarius, let's wrap this up the way any grand cosmic journey should be wrapped, with truth, perspective, and a dash of celestial sass. When I see mountains in your spread, I don't panic, I get excited. Because mountains aren't just obstacles, they're spiritual gym memberships. And right now, you, my dear centaur, are nearing the summit of a major karmic climb. You've been doing the emotional squats, the shadow work planks, and maybe even the meditation marathons, with mixed success, I know it's hard to empty the mind when your moon sign has trust issues. But look how far you've come. The vast universe card isn't just some poetic phrase, it's your reminder that you're not just a passenger in this life, you are the pilot, the plane, and occasionally the dramatic turbulence. You're limitless. So drop the baggage, grab your metaphorical hiking staff, and start the final stretch. Your soul Sherpas and probably at least 2 ancestral aunties are up there cheering you on. Now, let's talk about those substances the cards mentioned. Spoiler, it's not just about red wine or late-night cookie dough therapy. It's anything that muddies your inner clarity. Old habits, looping thoughts, self-sabotaging beliefs, basically, anything that whispers you're not ready when Spirit is shouting, yes, you absolutely are. Spirit says it's time to read between the lines. Because truth rarely shows up wearing a name tag. It seeps through silences, slips between sentences, and lands in your gut when you least expect it. Trust your intuition. It knows what the ego is still pretending not to see. And here's the real kicker: this connection. Whether it's romantic, soul deep, or a karmic roommate you keep running into through lifetimes, it's circling back. The magician, the judgment, the dreams, the stillness, that weird emotional gravitational pull that no one else seems to understand? It's not madness. It's awakening. You're not losing your grip. You're expanding your consciousness. So what now? Stay open. Stay sacred. Stay just a little weird. Because being spiritually awake in a world addicted to distraction is revolutionary. And as always, my chosen Sagittarius, remember, the stars don't guess. They guide. If this message resonated, if it lit up your soul in all the right ways, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this cosmic corner of the universe. Zodiac Talks Tarot. We're not just reading cards here, we're rereading souls, decoding divine timing, and laughing through the madness one transit at a time. Enjoy the view from the mountain, Sagittarius. You've earned it.